Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we're giving you the players who we think are the most disloyal in history. Buckle up, it's definitely a spicy one. Lee Clark. One of the more obscure names on this list, Lee Clark carved out for himself a very solid professional career, never leaving England's top two tiers in his 16 years, before breaking the EFL unbeaten streak after going 43 matches without defeat as Huddersfield Town manager in 2012. Newcastle United through and through, Clark made his debut for the team he supported in 1990, being part of both squads that finished up as runners-up in 1996 and 1997. So it was a surprise when Clark made the journey just 10 miles southeast to join Sunderland, Newcastle's most hated rivals. Despite his connections, he was an integral part of the squad for 2 seasons, as they lost in the playoff final penalty shootout, before following it up with a then record 105 points as the Black Cats won promotion to the Promised Land. But his true colours soon shone through. Clark attended the 99 FA Cup final between Manchester United and Newcastle United. That was fine in itself, but it was his fashion choice that drew eyebrows. A t-shirt with the slogan, "Sad Mackem Bastards." Mackem being a nickname for the people of Sunderland. It was no shock then that Clark was immediately dropped and shipped off to Fulham, before having a chance to feature at the Stadium of Light again. If you don't want to be regarded as one of the most disloyal people on YouTube, make sure you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel and stick the notification bell on so you never miss a video. Emmanuel Adebayor. One of the most controversial footballers to this day, Emmanuel Adebayor has had his fair share of moves in his career, but his moves across teams in the Premier League are most noticeable. After joining Arsenal from Monaco for £3 million, the Togo forward was nicknamed Baby Kanu due to his resemblance to the former Arsenal star. He lived up to the name, scoring 62 times and recording 22 assists in 142 appearances. After an incredible final season at Arsenal, new-look Man City came in for the forward and made him their third signing after being acquired by Sheikh Mansour. He completed the move for £25 million, with a lot of Gunners branding him as money-hungry and unloyal. The forward silenced a lot of those fans when he scored the winner in City's 2-1 win in 2009, which led to that infamous knee slide in front of the travelling fans. He decided to then move to the other half of North London, starting brightly under Harry Redknapp, but again fading as he always did and being banished from the squad under AVB. He criticised fans, telling them that they made it hard for the players after Spurs went on a run, losing 4 and 5, not just disloyal in terms of his club choice, but also whilst playing for the teams themselves. Harry Redknapp. He may be now known as the King of the Jungle, but Harry Redknapp has had a career in football spanning back to the mid-60s, where he broke into the West Ham side at just 18 years old. But his betrayal isn't to do with the Hammers, at least not yet. In 2002, a year after leaving the Upton Park bench, Redknapp took the job at Portsmouth, winning promotion to the Premier League a year later and keeping them up in 2004. You'd expect this to cement his status as a Pompey icon, and it did. At least until December that year, where he upsticked and moved 20 miles along the south coast, taking the job at fierce rivals Southampton. Tasked with avoiding relegation to the Championship, Redknapp ultimately failed, whilst his former side managed to beat the job yet again. You'd think that's where it would end, but no. 364 days after moving to Southampton, Redknapp trod the same path, but in reverse, being unveiled at Fratton Park for the second time. This gained a mixed response from the Portsmouth faithful, but unsurprisingly, he saw his relationship with the Saints turn vitriolic. He won back the hearts of the Pompey fans with an FA Cup win in 2008, followed months later by another controversial move. Tottenham came calling, Harry moved to North London and destroyed half a century-long bond that, he held with the West Ham fans. But it's something he was used to by now. Ronaldo. The original Ronaldo was arguably the best striker of his generation. He won the FIFA World Player of the Year award on 3 occasions and won the Ballon d'Or twice. Although he was a world beater, he wasn't regarded as the most loyal of players. After joining Barcelona from PSV in 1996 for £13.5 million, the Brazilian established himself as one of the best players in the world with 41 goals in 51 games, helping Barca win 3 trophies. A first of 2 Ballon d'Ors followed for Ronaldo in 1997, though surprisingly at this point he was already an Inter Milan player. The Brazilian had a few problems renegotiating a new contract, which was rumoured to last until 2006. This led him to signing for the Italian club for a world record fee at the time of £25 million. He spent 5 years at Inter and had one of the most prolific periods in his career, scoring 59 times in 99 appearances and helping them pick up the 98 UEFA Cup. After a successful period in Italy, Ronaldo was tempted back to Spain, with the prospect of being the most expensive Galactico, which he became in 2002 after he signed for Real for a world record fee of £46 million. His exit from the club 4.5 years and 83 goals later came as a shock and was against his will, with the forward saying, "I didn't want to leave, I started having problems with Capello." He then joined AC Milan in 2007 and became one of only 2 players to score for both rivals in the Milan derby. Although his tenure sadly ended abruptly after suffering a knee injury, we're sure he'll be the only player loved by 2 pairs of direct rivals. Don Revie. We're going back to the 70s with this entry, when a manager moving abroad caused national headlines and turned an entire country against one person. Don Revie was appointed the England manager in 1974, following their failure to qualify for that year's World Cup, after a 13-year spell with Leeds in which he won 2 league titles and the FA Cup, as well as experiencing success abroad. It didn't go to plan though for Revie, as he failed to qualify for both the 1976 Euros and the 1978 World Cup. After an underwhelming home championships, it became evident that he was looking for a way out. Revie missed a friendly with Brazil in Rio de Janeiro, claiming to be on a scouting mission of future opponents Italy, but it was later revealed that he was actually holding talks with his soon-to-be employers. And they were the United Arab Emirates, a nation who had only played their first international fixture in 1972. It may have been a 4-year deal worth in excess of £2 million in today's money, but he was accused of being a mercenary. Hard to defend when he pocketed £120,000 for revealing this in an exclusive with the Daily Mail. The FA reacted by slapping a 10-year ban on Revie in English football, certainly feeling abandoned after their head coach left them. William Gallas. Everybody knows the story of William Gallas' stint in the Premier League, but we couldn't not put it on this list. Over 12 seasons in England, the Frenchman amassed over 450 appearances, as well as winning 2 league titles with Chelsea. The manager that signed him from Marseille, Claudio Ranieri, had always praised his professionalism, but after the Italian left West London, it all changed. In 2006, Gallas refused to sign a contract with the Blues and demanded a transfer away from Stamford Bridge, leading to the club issuing a statement that he threatened to deliberately score own goals if he wasn't allowed to leave. Gallas obviously denied these claims, but ultimately got his wish, and was involved in a deal with Arsenal that saw Ashley Cole move the other way. More on that later. The defender took Bergkamp's coveted number 10 shirt, the first questionable move of his in North London, and in 2008 infamously protested a decision to award Birmingham City an injury time penalty by sulking in the centre circle. In the same year, Gallas publicly accused his teammates of lacking courage, causing further tensions in the Emirates dressing room. To top it all off, he moved to Spurs in 2010, pissing off fans from both his former sides. Ashley Cole. As promised, we now move on to Ashley Cole, the greatest left-back in English history, and at his peak, the best in the world at his position. He certainly split opinion amongst fans, including the neutrals. Making his Arsenal debut in 1999 at just 18, Cole made over 200 appearances for his local side before hitting the headlines in 2005. In June, the 107-capped international was fined £100,000 by the Premier League for a tapping-up meeting in January of the same year, which also saw Jose Mourinho and Chelsea, the club involved, fined £500,000 between them. Despite signing a contract extension the same summer, 12 months later he was on the move to West London, and wasn't afraid to fire some parting shots at his former employers. Cole accused Arsenal of treating him as a scapegoat and feeding him to the Sharks, before adding he was left trembling with anger after being offered £55,000 a week by the Gunners, despite still being 5 times the average Premier League wage at the time. Cole went on to sign a £90,000 a week deal with Chelsea before becoming a Stamford Bridge legend, deservedly picking up the name Cashley. Not that he cares though. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The self-proclaimed best player to ever play in the MLS, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has his fair share of moves throughout his career. While at Ajax, the Swede gained a reputation as one of the most promising forwards in Europe, after scoring 35 goals in 74 appearances. He joined Juventus just 2 years later and formed a dangerous partnership with David Trezeguet, helping them win 2 Serie A titles. Surprisingly, after 2 years, he joined their domestic rivals Inter Milan for £24.8 million. And here he really made a name for himself. He helped them win 5 trophies, including 3 Serie A titles in a row, and in his final season with the club was named both Footballer of the Year and Foreign Footballer of the Year for the 2nd consecutive season. Although he was on his way to becoming an Inter legend, the big Swede decided to take Barca president Juan Laporta up on his offer of joining the club after seeing teammate and best friend Maxwell make the switch. Although his move started well with a match winner in his first El Clasico, Ibra never really found his feet at the Camp Nou, with manager Guardiola deciding that Messi will be the focal point of the team. After 22 goals in 44 appearances, Barca decided to cut their losses and loan the Swede to AC Milan, which later became a permanent deal for £24 million, making them the 3rd big Italian club he'd play for. Like his other spells in Italy, he won his first Scudetto with the club in his first season. Although he never got his hands on the Champions League, he is still regarded as one of the best strikers to ever play. Neymar. Although he is arguably one of the best players in the world, Neymar has had some questions around him when it comes to his loyalty of clubs that he's played for. The Brazilian started his career with Santos before a €57 million move to Barcelona, where he established himself as one of the best attackers in the world. In Catalonia, the now 27-year-old had 181 goal involvements in 186 appearances, winning 8 trophies that included the infamous treble in 2015. However, this did not stop Neymar from forcing a move out, even though he was regarded as the heir to Messi's throne. This move came as a surprise as PSG were left feeling used after the forward changed his mind last minute in 2016 when they initially came in for him. Fast forward 2 years, 5 trophies won and 81 goal involvements in 59 appearances, and Neymar is now trying to force a move back to his former employers. The wide man hasn't had the luckiest time in Paris, missing 52 games in all competitions due to multiple injuries. After a summer of non-stop speculation, the Brazilian has been forced to stay in Paris after Barcelona were unable to come up with the funds to get him, with PSG valuing him at around £275 million. Neymar has received a lot of backlash from fans and recently was booed by them even after scoring in their 1-0 win against Strasbourg, with Messi revealing he'd love the 27-year-old back, and after his frosty return to the Paris side, we doubt this will be the end of the Neymar saga. So that was 10 of the most disloyal players in history. What did you think of the list? Did we miss anyone out? As always, get it in the comments below. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you for the next one.